Good evening. I had my coffee and I had some coffee cake. Got myself a little pot roast for dinner. It is about 6:30 at night right now in the panhandle of Florida. It is 40 some odd degrees outside. It's actually really cold. And I know you're probably thinking, what, in Florida it's cold? Yeah, it actually gets really cold here in the panhandle of Florida. So some of the videos that I'm going to make, you might be thinking to yourself, like, what is this girl in Florida thinking when she's making equipment for like cold weather? Well, the reality is, when we get a hurricane or a tropical storm's not so bad, but specifically hurricanes, when they come through, a lot of times what happens is that it actually gets really cold right before the storm as it's coming in. So for me, making my own gear wasn't even just about ultralight backpacking. It was also about making sure that I had a kit that I could pick up, grab, and take in the car with me if I ever had to evacuate, which Hurricane Michael was a Category 5, and I probably should have evacuated. Fortunately, we were not in the direct path of it. So we ended up staying for Hurricane Michael, and it was kind of scary, but it wasn't too bad here. It was like maybe Cat 2, Cat 3 winds. Not too bad. Of course, Bay County actually just got destroyed. But that was, for me, a turning point when I started thinking about equipment that I wanted to have, basically a kit. And it needed to be a kit for me that could go anywhere with me and has gone a lot of places with me over the years now. And it needed to be lightweight. It needed to be easy to use. All of my stuff needed to be just super simple and, you know, the kind of stuff that anybody could just pick up and use. And a lot of the backpacking equipment that's on the market right now, that you can go online, you can order whatever it is that you want to order online, and probably you're going to get a really good product. Like if you go with a legitimate company that's been making the products that they have for years, and you know, there's definitely a benefit to doing that because they have warranties on their stuff. And if you think about it in the long term, it's not a bad idea. You have reviews you can read, you have just a ton of things that will help you decide what it is that you want to buy and what's going to serve your needs and your purposes. For me, I'm older now, so I already happen to know a lot of the things that I need when I am in a remote location or, God forbid, in an emergency. And it turns out a lot of the stuff that people need for backpacking, it comes in very handy during an emergency. And so, yeah, for me, my stuff is actually dual purpose. And that got me started designing my own things. And it's not that I'm cheap. I could spend $500 on a really good sleeping bag and probably I'd have one sleeping bag. And I just, you know, get one that was going to serve all of my needs for that price, because it's a lot of money. I'd probably have it for the next 30 years. But I actually opted to make my own, and I think there's a lot of people out there that want to do stuff like that. They're like really interested in making something that is going to be exactly for them and what they need specifically, as opposed to, you know, what a company has determined is a good idea, you know. But again, there's nothing wrong with just going out and buying something if it's easier for you. So don't think that this channel is about, you know, you trying to do different. That's Apple's motto, think different. I honestly, if some other company has made a good product and you know it's a good product and you could depend on it, then just use it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to do sponsorships on this channel. I'm not going to do giveaways. I'm not going to take product from people. What I'm doing is actually just, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've made for myself. Just purely for the reason that I know there are other people out there that also want to make their own stuff. But there's really nobody talking about how to do that. And so, you know, gear reviews are great. You can sit there and watch gear reviews all day long. Like there's thousands of gear reviews out there for you. So by all means, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You don't have anything better to do. Jump on YouTube and watch some gear video reviews. But if you're really looking for something that's kind of like a, you know, a cut above, maybe just take it a little further, and get something that's specifically that you can design for yourself that is going to suit you, then hopefully this channel will be for you. Because every video review or every product that I talk about, it's going to be generic. It's not a brand. I'm not branding anything. So Probably the only brands that I'm going to mention in this thing. I mean, I'm open to new companies that come out and they're producing do-it-yourself gear, make your own gear. But definitely want to shout out to Ripstop by the Roll, because a lot of the stuff that I've ordered in the past has been from them. Custom prints, things like that. Here's the, you know, I had this printed for myself because I just thought coloring book pattern looks really cool. I always thought it would be really awesome to have, you know, something that no one else has. And all my gear is something that no one else has. So the other benefit is when I used to do airsoft and I was running an airsoft field, I noticed that when people had gear for airsoft and it would get stolen, if it was custom made stuff, a lot of times that gear ended up coming back to its owner. In fact, countless times, if someone stole something that was one of a kind, it was really easy to identify it. And so I'm not saying anyone's going to steal your stuff, but it does happen that people steal. And if your stuff was going to go missing, or if you were going to go missing in the mountains somewhere and they find a bunch of gear, there would be no question. If you've made your own stuff, if you did a make your own gear, it's going to be pretty obvious that that's your gear for various different reasons. That's a good thing. And yeah, so we're going to start with some products here, and this is just an intro video. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, go ahead and like the channel. Definitely like the video for me, and I will go ahead and try and put out I think I'm going to shoot for at least one video a week where I talk about different products that I've made and that you can make, and then I'll tell you how to do it so that you know, so you're not out there in the wind going, how do I do this? Most of the stuff's actually pretty easy. Once you get the general idea of what you're doing, I think you can probably pull it off. If you've got a home sewing machine, basic home sewing machine, you're going to do relatively well. Maybe not, you know, professional quality, but you can get pretty darn close. So, all right, that's it. Stay tuned for the first video.